your minds to journey with me for just a few moments as I focus on a very real topic. When damsels in distress try Jesus. When damsels in distress try Jesus. A damsel in distress is simply a woman in trouble. From the time we began to understand the English language, we were introduced to some damsels in distress. These women were most often characters found in fairy tales. Snow White, Cinderella, Rapunzel, the list goes on and on. With each of these examples, we found a woman who needed to be rescued or were waiting to be rescued from their troubles, but they were waiting on a man. These damsels turned to or relied on men to help them solve whatever problems they faced. Now, I found it important at this point to remind everyone that these were indeed fairy tales, fiction, made-up stories from the imagination of two brothers that we know as the Brothers Grimm. How many of us know that life is no fairy tale? Each of us have our own issues that bring about distress, suffering, pain, and trouble. We find in Job 14:1 that our lives will be of few days and full of trouble. We will have issues. But because we don't live in a fairy tale, we can't expect man to come and rescue us from our troubles. With that being said, I want to introduce you to four damsels in distress who cannot be found in any of the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales. These women figured out that they couldn't rely on just any man to rescue them. They instead decided to try Jesus. The first woman I would like to introduce to you is the woman with the issue of blood. In Mark 5:25, we learn of this woman who had an issue of blood for 12 long years. She suffered greatly, went to this physician and that physician, but yet to no avail. Her condition seemed to get worse and worse. The doctors could not rescue her. Doctors could not heal her. In my mind, I can hear her say, I've tried all of these doctors. Now it's time to try Jesus. Amen. One day, this woman with the issue heard that Jesus was passing through. All she could say was, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. This woman had great faith in Jesus. She knew that within him lied her answers. Within him lied her healing. Within him lied her deliverance. Most of us know how the story ended. She was able to fight her way through the crowds, and she did get a chance to touch the hem of his garment, and she was made whole. Jesus solved what the doctors could not. Amen. The second woman I would like to draw your attention to is a lady whose life inspired me from a very early age. I can recall being in, I think it was about 8th grade, going to the library and selecting a book entitled, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. The author of that book was none other than Maya Angelou. In the book, she told of the many troubles she had as a young woman, as a child. She was abandoned by her mother. She was abused by someone she trusted. She was a single parent. Her life was full of troubles. It was her grandmother who raised her that instilled in her a strong sense of religion. Through her troubles in early life, she turned to her mother. She turned to her grandmother. She turned to her brother. But there remained a void that was later to be filled when she tried Jesus. Dr. Angelo explained that it was her finding Jesus that gave her courage to deal with life's issues. Dealing with Jesus, turning to Jesus, allowed her to achieve incredible feats. Now I would like to share with you one of her poems, which is entitled, When I Say I'm a Christian. When I say I'm a Christian, I'm not shouting I'm clean living. I'm whispering I was lost, now I'm forgiven. When I say I'm a Christian, I don't speak with this pride. I'm confessing that I stumbled and I need Christ to be my guide. When I say I'm a Christian, I'm not trying to be strong. I'm professing that I'm weak and I need his strength to carry on. When I say I'm a Christian, I'm not bragging of success. I'm admitting I have failed and need God to clean up my mess. When I say I'm a Christian, I'm not claiming to be perfect. My flaws are too visible, but God believes I'm worth it. When I say I'm a have my share of heartaches, but I call upon his name. When I say I'm a Christian, I'm not holier than thou. I'm just a simple sinner who's received God's good grace somehow. Now, the third woman I would like to tell you about was a woman whose life I was able to witness from the time I was born. This was my mother. Early in my life, she became a widow who was responsible for raising 2 young girls. I witnessed the day-to-day struggles that came along with being a single parent. Not only did I witness her struggles, getting the bills paid, providing for a family, giving us food, shelter, making sure we had clothes on our back, I witnessed her faith. I witnessed the relationship she had with Jesus. I witnessed her having conversations with Christ while she was in the midst of distress. And I witnessed him making a way out of no way, time and time again. Now, finally, I would like to tell you about one more woman who decided to try Jesus. That woman stands before you this morning. My faith was sparked by what I witnessed from my mother's walk with Christ. That was a seed that was planted within me. But oh, when that seed began to grow, I had to get to know him for myself. I had to try him for myself. I'm reminded of the lyrics from a Billie Holiday song. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. My mama may have had her relationship with Jesus Christ, but I had to have my own. My life has not been easy. Just as explained in 2 Corinthians 4, 8, and 9, I have been troubled on every side, but yet I was not distressed. I have been perplexed, but I was not in despair. I was persecuted, but I was not forsaken. I have been cast down, but I was not destroyed. Because a long time ago, I decided to try Jesus. He has protected me through it all. I learned to lean on him in my times of distress. I learned to lean on him when my bills were due. I learned to lean on him when depression was knocking at my door. I learned to lean on him when folks on the job just didn't want to act right. I learned to lean on him when I was in the midst of, not some of them, but all of my struggles. Just as the Brothers Grimm authored those stories, detailing the outcomes of the lives of those fictional damsels in distress, we learn in Hebrews 12 and 2 that Jesus is the author and the finisher of our faith. Christ has created our faith, and he will watch over it. He will care for it, and he will sustain it. He is the sustainer of our daily walk and the finisher of our spiritual journey. All you have to do is try him. He is the answer to all of your questions. He is the solver of all of your problems. He is the comforter of your suffering. He is the solution to all of your pain. He is your way out of your trouble. With whatever you're going through, I encourage you to try Jesus. I know what he can do. The same way he made a way for me, he will make a way for you. So try him for yourself. But I must say, it's not enough that we try Jesus. We must go a little bit further than that. And we have to experience Jesus. We have to trust Jesus. We have to get to know Jesus. We have to depend on Jesus. So today, my encouragement lies on telling you or encouraging you to simply try Jesus.